So that's the thing. Remember when I said before, people been telling me I'm not a superhero, and I know I am, right? So if someone told you that you couldn't sell companies and do the things that you did because to them it's superhero shit, it's a dream that they can't come true for them. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like you've done things that people want to do. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you, if you came with that idea to certain people, they'd say, give you 30 reasons why you can't do it. The reason why Rockefeller was good, the reason why I did what I had to do was because I knew how to have a clear dream without anyone obstructing it. I knew how to visualize winning. So if somebody told me, you can't do that because of this, get out my dream. Because that's not the last thought I'm going to have with my dream, because my mind is powerful. And whatever I see in my mind, I can make happen. So what I'm living in is my dream. I dreamed about coming to London right now. In the past, this was a visualization. I didn't know exactly what I'd be doing in London, but I visualized doing a lot of shit, talking to a lot of people. You understand what I'm saying? So if you can't visualize winning, then you will not win. And the average person, because we're programmed not to win, 99% of us are, we don't think anyone can. So when someone does, it's amazing. But it's just the program. As soon as you're born, you know, I've said this before, you don't know about fear or what to be scared of until someone tells you what to be scared of. And a lot of what people tell you to be scared of is to actually be successful and dream and be independent and be on your own. You know, what would you, like if you were a conniving person that wanted to take over the whole world and you had that kind of power, but you had to program everybody, the first thing I would do was take everybody's kids as soon as they wake up and program them for 8 hours a day on what I want them to do. I want you to go to college. I want you to get a job. I want you to work until you're 70. I want you to be unhappy. I want you to have debt. I want you to go get a loan to go to college. And then I want you to work that off. And if you don't go to college, then you make your parents' dreams into a nightmare. Most kids only go to college for their parents. You understand what I'm saying? And then you pay for that. So when I look at hieroglyphics, I never see school. I think parents love their children the most. No one's going to love their kids more than the people that made them. Those should be the people teaching them. Why would you put a kid in a room behind a desk when the sun is out for their whole entire childhood? Not put them in front of water or ocean or anything that inspires them. Dim lights. If you notice, schools, jails, and hospitals all look exactly the same. Why wouldn't it be in something inspiring? Why? Because it's a program to keep us controlled. When you have to have order of masses, you have to have them all doing the same thing so you can know what they're doing, you can monetize what they're doing, you know how they're doing it. So at a very early age, I was like, yo, all this shit y'all teaching me, first of all, none of it makes me think I'm number one. It would make me, if I believed what y'all were teaching me, especially back then, that I'm number two, that I could never be a boss, that there could never be a black president. They never teach us how to pass laws and lobby or be politicians, and that's the only way to make change. So it has to be strategic. So when a cycle continues over and over again without change, it's either insanity or it's intentional. Somebody's losing, which is us, but somebody's winning, which is them. And they're controlling the game. So now we have to make our own game, which behooves us. But the patterns that are implemented, like you said, the DNA of who you are starts when you're a child. What happens as soon as you're 4 or 5 years old? Until you get taught what to read, how to read, what to do, and you're also told that the only way you could break a social class is to be an athlete or be in entertainment. And both are provided for you in school. So you just cash out and don't go to school, get an education. You go and invest all your dreams in being an athlete, which is like lotto. And when it doesn't happen, they build a jail based on those that don't graduate. That's how they build jail cells, which is an independent sector. With me, meaning that, it's out, it's not the government doesn't own it. And the intention is to keep those beds in those jails filled because you have a government contract. It's nothing but a hotel that you want to keep. So when you get to that jail, based on the fact that you didn't get your education, they make sure that you come back. No rehabilitation at all. And serve you bad food. No therapy. None of that shit. And it's obvious if you study people, which people do, that you should do that different so that there would be a different result. But because there hasn't been any change made by anyone, the change has to come from us. And that's the reason why Rockefeller was successful, because I wasn't with none of that. Not the education, not the programming that we should be signed, none of that shit. Not them telling me Jay was too old, all of that. You understand what I'm saying? So basically everything I've been told has not behooved me, but everything I do has. So when I don't listen, my family eats. When I do, we don't. You gotta approach it like a gangster. You know, I look at The Godfather and, you know, when something happens and they have to retaliate, there's actually a consigliere to go and do the research, to come back and tell you what your best move should be, just studying. For me, a consigliere is like, I need a therapist. I need someone to talk to sometimes to make sure I'm making the right moves and that I'm reacting the right way. Yesterday, I had to call Tajay. You know, we have a show called Healing is Gangster. I had to call him twice, for maybe 3 times, for 3 different situations in the day. And just little adjustments changed the whole trajectory of the day. So first and foremost, you got to get mentally right. Because you can't be a boss if you have to lead by example and you're doing erratic, dumb, duck, stupid-ass clown, you know, goofy shit. And then you have to make sure you're leading by example. You got to get your physical health right. You got to get in shape. So if you feel in a rut, go do some fucking push-ups. Go jog. It'll make you feel better. Whenever I do feel any anxiety, just hit the bag. I don't never feel no anxiety when I'm working.
Is your hand still nice?
Very. I'm 52. He gets he's saying, oh, yeah, I did that when I was 40 then. 40-something. After the joint. I mean, you know, meaning like compared to if you're not a pro, yeah, you're going to have some problems. You know, if you don't know how to fight yet. I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? But I'm 50. But health is important. And then you have to identify what your dream is. You got to know what your dream is. And you got to be able to visualize it perfectly. If you can't visualize your dream, it ain't going to happen. If you visualize the reason why it can't happen, that's what's going to happen. It can't. And you got to be able to write it down. You know, this is my method. I was talking to my daughter about it. It's about the dimensions. So the first dimension is the dream, and then it's the paper. Then you put the pictures on the vision board of the shit you're going to buy and the way you're going to get there. Then you're going to make that shit happen in the real time, which is another dimension. And then you're going to make it happen in the metaverse in Web3, which is a whole nother dimension now. That's my method. Whenever you feel anxiety, work. If you have time to sit around thinking about the shit you ain't doing or the things you don't have, then that means you're not doing anything. You understand what I'm saying? While you're working, you don't have time to think about the shit you're not doing. You're worried about what's in front of you. So there's no reason.
We're taking care of our family. We're supposed to be making it easy for the people we love. We're not so. If you are all right with your kids having to go through the same exact problems that you had, then what you here for?
Right.
And a life without a purpose is not a life. It's a depressed existence.
That's a fact.
So that's why we're taught not to dream. We're taught not to give ourselves any kind of compliments. Anything that makes us confident makes it negative. We're taught to be controlled. We're taught to sit in a room since the day my daughter is taught to sit in a room 8 hours a day while the sun is out and worry about going to college. From the day she goes to school, since she's been 6. You know you want to go to college before you know what you want to go to college for. I got a son in college right now. You don't know why he in college.
Right. Well, now they tell them that. Now they tell you the experience.
What experience? The experience being an adult and so you 4 years behind everybody else. So you could have the experience you have in debt.
Yeah.
What experience?
That's the American experience that they connect to the dream of college.
Programming.
Yeah.
And you pay for it.
Yeah.
Put you in debt. Period.
Yeah.
And they don't teach you nothing that you're going to use.
Yeah.
At all. So that's the reason. But I'm not even mad at it. If I wanted to brainwash the masses, I'd make a curriculum that brainwashes them from the day they're born. I take it from their kids, and tell them exactly how to be taught by a stranger. Tell them exactly what have you ever seen any hieroglyphics with a school on it?
No.
That's it. And you know when school came? When you were being schooled, when you're being taught how to be controlled, how to push you into a group. When they tell you that the planet is overpopulated, but when I go into places and don't see nothing, New York could be overpopulated. LA is a lot of people,
Right.
But this is where they want everybody.
Right.
This is where they tax you the most. This is where you get control. This is where you're gonna be able to build the most jails and outsource them. Independent sector.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of money from dysfunction. There's a lot of money from war.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money from taking over resources from our planet. It's just something.
I mean, you know,
And
capitalism.